Okay, so I run King's Fallback most weeks, at least a couple of times a week, and it always intrigues me to see what people are using in the raids, because luckily running the raid back on normal, we aren't confined to a restrictive loadout, and especially with the meta of where certain weapons stand, and there's certainly a lot of options out there that will get the job done, never mind there being some better than a lot of others. However, what doesn't intrigue me as much is still seeing many people who aren't taking advantage of those elemental well mods. Now, there can be multiple reasons for this, such as being a brand new or a returning player to the game, which could be the biggest factor, because I have seen and played with a lot of players who are new or returning, which, depending on when it was the last time you returned to the game, Destiny 2 is somewhat different with building around your character than it was back then. The game offers these different kind of mods to buy from Ada 1, but there's no guidance from the game about how you go to put these on, and at the very least to enhance your gameplay. However, they did put Charge Reliant mods on the armor that they gave out for free at the start of this season, but they didn't tell people exactly why they were equipped or what they did. This swings quite nicely into elemental well mods. I can't quite remember when they came out or how they were released into the game, but they have been respectfully around long enough for people to know this stuff. The game doesn't go out of its way of explaining to you they exist, and I'm here today to try and push this small guide out on how to use elemental well mods to the niche handful of players who are either new or still don't have a clue. Before I begin to explain how this works, if you see anything you like in today's video, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe for more. We are currently at 583 subs, which is amazing, but I'm looking to see if we can hit my next big goal of 1,000 subscribers. And so I'm hoping you'll be the one who gets me there. So to explain in short, we use elemental well mods to either kill or perform an interaction in a certain way with our characters to then create something called a well, which you might have seen created by other players already. They come in all the different subclass colours depending on how it was created. Okay, so we're going to start from the basics as if you found one of these wells, and whether it was created by you or not, without any additional enhancements. When you walk over and pick it up, you will receive a small amount of ability energy back to one of your 3 abilities, which is currently on its longest duration until it can be used again. However, if you pick up a well that is matching your subclass that you have equipped, you will gain a small amount of ability energy for all 3 of your abilities. Okay, so for example here, I have made a solar well, and because it's matching my solar subclass, when I walk over it, you should be able to see a small portion of energy that goes into my melee, into my class ability, and into my grenade. So how do we start creating these elemental wells? It's probably best to start with the generic mods that can go on any type of armor, such as elemental ordnance, melee wellmaker, elemental armaments, shield crash wellmaker, and elemental light. I would stay away from shield crash just because it's a little expensive and too situational to make wells with, and it's just as easy, if not better, to make wells with other mods that are far more consistent. I'll show off the 3 I use the most, which is elemental ordnance, melee wellmaker, and armaments. So with ordnance, to make a well, all I need to do is get a kill with my grenade, and then an elemental well will spawn dependent on what subclass I have equipped. Okay, so for example here, very easy stuff. I have ordnance equipped, and when I kill them with a solar grenade here, a well should spawn, which is solar. The next one is very easy as well, so with melee wellmaker 2, I will make an elemental well spawn depending on what subclass I've equipped when I get a kill with my melee. So here I am with my melee, and very simply gonna kill him with it, and because I have this mod equipped, they should drop me a solar well. And then the last one I've got here is armaments, which isn't as good but is still fairly reliable, that with every kill you get with a weapon that is matching your subclass will give you an escalating chance to spawn an elemental well for you. So for example, this is really good for those massive group of ads where you might not have your abilities accessible, but you have a weapon on that might be able to get quite a few rapid kills. So here I am killing ads here until I'm able to drop one of these wells for me. Okay, so now that I've shown how we make these wells in a couple of basic ways, I'm going to show you why most players use elemental well mods, and that's because of this particular mod, Font of Might. You will have most likely heard of this, and it's pretty much a 25% weapon damage boost to whatever subclass the well is matching when you pick this up. And the reason it's so good is because it's classed as an outside damage source, meaning we don't class this as an empowering buff, meaning it can stack alongside things like a Titan Bubble or a Warlock Well. So here I am putting on Font of Might, and then I'm going to use Elemental Ordnance to help me get that well. Okay, so here I am going to go up to the Knight as normal and create that solo well, and this time, as well as giving me that ability energy back to all three of my abilities, I'm also now getting on the left hand side of the screen a solar weapon damage boost. Now, making one elemental well is nice, but say if you want to make more for those ability based builds on your characters, then that too is possible with a couple of these mods such as Bountiful Wells and Explosive Wellmaker. They're both solar mods and fairly cheap to put into your armour. Bountiful is going to allow you to make a second well for every well you make off another mod, so say if I use my ordnance to make a well, now I'm going to have 2 drop for me instead via Bountiful. And the other mod, Explosive Wellmaker, will drop you a solar mod for rapidly killing combatants with explosive damage. So here I am with Bountiful and Explosive on, and I'm using Ordnance still again to help me create that well. So when I throw it into these thrall here, they're all going to die, and I'm able to create here 4 solar wells. Okay, so the final elemental well mod I'm going to show off today is Elemental Time Dilation. Now, Font of Might is fantastic in the sense when you pick a well up and you get all that a weapon bonus damage, but it does only last 10 seconds, which for some situations is actually not bad at all, considering that there is no cooldown on how many of these wells you can make at any time as long as there's combatants, so you can always reset this timer. However, let's say you want to use this during boss fights / damage phases, then we are going to need to make that timer longer. With Time Dilation, you can now make time limited benefits on elemental well mods stack for each additional copy of the mod you have equipped. So right now I have 1, and still even having 1 will already increase the timer to 13 seconds with Time Dilation, which is still great, but we can make that much higher by having a couple more Font of Might mods equipped. So here I now have 3 Font of Mights equipped, and I still have my Ordnance to help me create a well. So we can proc the font, and when I pick up 1, I now have 20 seconds of that weapon damage. Now you can run a 4th one to make that timer even longer, but you just need to make sure that someone else is able to create that well for you, because you won't have the room to do so, which will then give you even more time. Here as well, I'm just showing a similar rotation on my Hunter, finding a well with my grenade, and then getting that weapon damage boost. I am also wearing Jafalcon's Hauberk here, which is messing with the numbers, but you get the idea. And there you go, so that is the basic fundamentals, I believe, of how to not only create elemental wells, but to start using them effectively too. There are so many more mods in the game that I haven't covered, so if you want me to make a follow-up video on how to use other particular mods on certain subclasses, then do let me know. So when I end up uploading this video as well, the upside to this guide being out there is that when you guys start watching my guides from now on, you should be able to get a bit more of an idea of why I use some of these elemental well mods to make these builds. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you stayed until the end, you guys are truly awesome, and I'll catch you all in the next one.